Live from Studio 15 in downtown Wenatchee, Wake Up Wenatchee Valley is on the air for this Wednesday, the 21st day of February, 2018, and a good Wednesday to you. We say good morning. I am Dan Kuntz, your host for the next hour. Steve Hare, our beloved and award-winning news director to the left. One of those statements was true. I just said, Kat is in control. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday to you, Dan.
You ready to go get him?
I'm on my best behavior today.
Good.
My wife is watching, so I have to be very careful about my P's and Q's.
Hi, Lynette. How are you? Yeah, well, you got to be man of your P's and Q's because we got two big-time local celebrities waiting in the green room.
Absolutely.
Yes, the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center is presenting People of Our Past again. This has been going on for over a decade, quite a bit of time. It's really cool. It's a chance to step back in time. It happens this weekend at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center, and Ashley Sinner from the museum will be dropping by alongside Jeff Heminger, who will be for the first half of our interview portion, Jeff Heminger, and then for the second half, he's going to step into his role as Wenatchee pioneer Ed Ferguson. We'll be interviewing him as Ed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
These are personalities that I was not aware of, but they bring them back to life here at these Peoples of the Past event at the museum. It's really a good deal. Last year, didn't they have one with Clyde Pangborn?
I think so, or it's happened before, certainly in the past. I can remember that. It's a neat thing.
Yeah.
It's really cool. If you're interested at all in Wenatchee's past, it's a fascinating. I'm looking forward to this conversation. This will be fun.
No, it'll be great.
And who knows, maybe like in 30 years, Steve, when they do a People of Our Past, they'll have somebody portraying legendary Wenatchee newsman Steve Hare.
Wouldn't that be something?
Who would you like to have portray you in People of Our Past?
You know, I haven't given that much thought.
Yeah.
But maybe you.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
Yeah, you do
I'm
a good
expensive,
job.
but I'll do it. So, what else is going on? We got whatever passes for sports.
Just make sure you proofread the stories.
Yeah. And I know a lot about you, but everything I know about you I can't say in public. That's the problem there. Sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays, very, very cold outside. Yesterday's average temperature, you take the high and the low, and you average about 19 degrees. Ooh. It was chilly. Believe it or not, Steve, only 3 times this entire winter has the average temperature for the day been at 19 or below.
Below 20. That's amazing.
Yep. The coldest was, by the way, Christmas Eve. Back on December 24th, our average temperature was, I think, 15.
Ooh.
But it's cold. It's been yesterday's high 26. Normally 43. We were 17 degrees below normal yesterday.
When are you going to start warming up again?
By the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, but forecast details are coming up. That Arctic air mass is still hanging around, but there's a system that's going to knock it out of alignment, and it's going to warm us up, maybe give us a little bit of snow, but we'll be back up into the 40s.
A little bit of a, I guess, a mild Pineapple Express, maybe?
Yeah, it's just enough to get the Arctic air out of here, and I'm all for that. Because I was getting that Golf Jones going, you know, with temperatures in the 60s.
Yeah.
You know, go out and, you know, get a quick 18 and we go right back into this.
A little budding on some of the trees, too.
That's not good.
No.
No, that's not good.
Not the fruit trees, I'm saying, but I've noticed on some of the other trees.
So
that's not good.
That's not good. And we were afraid of this. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago when it was really warm. We thought, oh, this could be bad news for area fruit growers because the trees might get ahead of their own schedule. And then we could have a hard freeze and
yeah, and I don't really have a hard gauge on that right now from the field people there working for the different warehouses, but yeah, there was some concern. I think it depends really on the extent or the longevity of that warm spell before you get another freeze.
Well, we're going to be past this in a couple of days, and we'll be seeing afternoon highs back up into the 40s, which is where they're supposed to be this time of year, and maybe that'll be it, because it's it's the 21st day of February. We got one month today, as a matter of fact, when we can officially call it spring.
I can start getting the travel trailer ready then.
Fire that baby up. And one more little item, sunrise is now before 7 o'clock.
Oh,
sunrise today is 6:55, which means we should have some really good footage from our Sky-Fi cameras.
We're gaining how many minutes of daylight each day now?
Oh, it's about 90 seconds.
It's about
90 seconds of daylight increasing each day.
Yeah.
Sunrise today, 6:55. Sunset tonight, 5:34 or something like that. So we're getting there.
Yeah,
we're getting there. Let's take you around the valley with our Valley View cameras on a beautiful but somewhat chilly Wednesday morning. And the cross camera there, Steve, looks like it's pulled about as far back as it can be pulled back.
Yeah. A little bit of a breeze. They're kicking up the water there on the Columbia River this morning.
And is that on the lower left-hand corner, you see that little spot of yellow? I think that's the sun kissing that little outcropping there by the cross camera. Yeah. That could very well be it. So good morning to Bridgeport, as you see on your screen. I'm sorry, that's the Wenatchee Valley. As you see on your screen there. Camera 2. Let's find out together, Steve. Wowee.
Goodness gracious.
That is gorgeous. That's
Isn't that-
Nanapoc.
Oh, that's spectacular.
That's Nanapoc Ridge. Incredible. Look at the low clouds and the fog, and that on the right you can see where the high transmission lines are there that carry the juice to all over the state of Washington. So good morning to the Lake Wenatchee, Nanapoc Ridge area.
Wow, that's pretty.
Gorgeous up there. Camera 3. All of these cameras, of course, courtesy of the Sky-Fi high-speed wireless network. That's got to be the Waterville camera pointed down towards the Wenatchee Valley, Steve. Aniat to your right, where the Aniat River flows into the Columbia going down to the lovely Wenatchee Valley proper. Beautiful view there. Just gorgeous. My guess is Pine Canyon can be a little dicey this time of the year.
I can almost smell the wood smoke.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm sure the wood stoves are going this morning.
No, I thought that's my new cologne
Oh,
that
I
I'm
beg your
wearing.
pardon.
Yeah, it's called Wood Smoke.
It has a little tint of bacon in there too, isn't it?
I can't think. Number 4. Where did this show go off the rails?
Oh,
there's our favorite. There's
our
Billy
favorite.
Goat. Yep.
Looking down on the Columbia River, to the left there would be the confluence, or actually at the bottom.
The very bottom.
The bottom, that's the Methow River confluence. And then looking north towards Pateras, Bridgeport, and Brewster.
And on up to the Okanagan area.
And that unknown mountain.
And that unknown mountain. You know what? I'm making a note right now. I'm going to endeavor to find out what that mountain is.
There
I'm
you
writing
are.
it down right now. There. Gotcha. Good morning to Billy Goat. We are the number 3 rated live morning show, local live morning show in the Billy Goat area.
Is that right?
Yep. Number
Second
3.
only to the Weather Channel.
The Weather Channel and reruns of Sesame Street comes in at number 1 there. Sunny day.
Occurs to me that we should probably make note of today's, we lost a legend and really, how would you describe Billy Graham?
America's Preacher.
America's
He
preacher.
really was.
Famous evangelist, died today at the age of 99.
99. Billy Graham, yeah.
Famous evangelist.
There'll be a lot more about that before this day is
Oh, I'm
over.
sure we will.
So yeah, America's Preacher, I guess, is about the best way to put it, really. I mean, anybody your age, my age, knows of Billy Graham.
Absolutely.
A highly respected individual. Very much involved in the civil rights movement. You know, he once bailed out Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
When he was arrested, Billy Graham drove down to Atlanta or wherever it was and bailed him out.
A good man.
Yep, good man indeed. 7 minutes after the hour, let's do your weather forecast from the National Weather Service. That's what it's looking like. Again, cold and generally dry. You see those snowflakes there, Steve. There's about a 20% chance of light snow. Nothing's really going to come down. Super, super dry light snow possible tonight. The clouds, by the way, will be thickening up. You see quite a bit of sunshine this morning. As the day progresses, clouds will be thickening up and we'll top off. They say at 33. Yesterday's high was only 26 and we were supposed to get to 33. Didn't quite get there. So not a lot going on. Let me give you the big picture right now. This is the big picture, and I talked about that Arctic air mass. There's that high pressure ridge, which is centered over the Gulf of Alaska, and so all the cold air is going up, visiting Alaska, visiting Canada, and coming right down and paying us a visit, which is why it's so entrenched. That's why it's so darn cold all over the Pacific Northwest, all over the West Coast. You know, LA's high yesterday was like 55 in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's unseasonable.
But there is a system coming, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. I want to jump ahead to next week because things are going to change next week. Still cool, still unstable. That's kind of like our show, isn't it?
Those are cool, though. Very cool.
Yeah. Maybe some snow showers. This is next week, and chaotic snow amounts, who I believe are opening for Dave Matthews at the Gorge and George over Labor Day weekend. So that's next week. Again, the cold air is going to be around for another couple of days, and then a weak system is just enough to bump it out of the way. So you see we warm up to 37 on Thursday, and then 38 on Friday, 44 on Saturday, 46 on Sunday. That's just about normal for this time of year. You see graphically represented a couple of snowflakes and a couple of raindrops. Not a big chance of any real measurable precipitation. Nothing above 30%. Nothing above 30% as far as what we're going to get. Could be rain, could be snow. As you can see with those afternoon highs over the weekend, whatever snow we get is not going to be around very much.
Temperatures are just like what the PUD and the irrigators like to see. They keep that snowpack in place.
Over 100%. I have that graphic. I decided not to throw it up, but they're over 100% on snowpack, so they're doing good there. So there was a lot of worry. We had that warm stretch, and they had quite a bit of snow melt. Well, like Mother Nature said, here's some more.
We'll get our first official March 1st measurement, of course, on snowpack. So that'll tell us what we can expect.
I'm told that's a really cool job The people who get to
Yeah.
fly helicopters up in the middle of nowhere and
The
see what the
snowtail
yardstick
sites?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
must be cool.
I'd love to go on a ride.
Well,
one
go
of these
for
sites,
it. You have my
that'd be fun.
permission. Steve, maybe they'll let you fly the helicopter.
They don't want to do that.
No, they're not idiots. 10 minutes after the hour, your past report. It's cold up there. It's 2 degrees at the summit of I-90 right now. Right now, there's nothing going on in the mountain passes, nothing at all to worry about. No advisories, no restrictions on Snoqualmie Pass. That's a live shot that you're looking at there. Some snow and ice in places, and that is it. Clear skies up above on Stevens. Traction tires are advised. Although if you look at Stevens, I'm seeing a lot of pavement, and that's good news there. Again, no snow in the forecast on Stevens, although they still have a traction tire advisory. And Blewett has a traction tire advisory with some compact snow and ice in places. There are clear skies above on all 3 of the major mountain passes, but temperatures, again, at Stevens Pass right now, it's 2 degrees.
Oh.
That's cold. Half an inch of snow possible today, and then 0 snow at all until Friday. But if you're traveling this weekend over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house, be prepared, because Friday afternoon is going to start snowing. It's going to snow pretty good. 3 to 7 inches in the mountain passes Friday, an additional 3 to 7 inches possible Friday night, and then about 3 inches on Saturday, as that system that comes in to knock out the cold air is going to bring moisture to the passes. Not much down here, but quite a bit up in the Cascades. Right now, today through Friday afternoon, I don't think you have anything to worry about. So there you go. 11 minutes after the hour on this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Going to take a quick 1-minute break, and then the news comes your way with this gentleman to my left, Steve Hare, who will be portrayed by me in the 2032 edition of People of Our Past. I'm making a date of it right now. Steve with the news in 1 minute. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live from Studio 4 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
My name's Robert Duff. Current and previous occupation is architect, engineer, and a lawyer. Grew up here in Washington, born in Moses Lake. When I first came to CVCH, was looking for a place to get some dental work done. And I was really impressed with the people at the counter. I mean, they were just on top of it. It only took her like 15 minutes to do the job. I didn't feel anything. The technology is so great, you don't even realize you're at the dentist. These people are so professional. I would have any one of these people in my home for dinner. These people are family.
Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, serving all of North Central Washington. We make it our priority to learn all about your financial needs. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or want a reverse mortgage, our mortgage professionals are ready to guide you through the loan process. We have a wide variety of loan products to fit your family's needs. Call Bay Equity Home Loans of Wenatchee today for your pre-approval. 509-888-0466.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Good morning, and here are some of the stories we're following for you on this Wednesday, February 21st. First of all, officials now have officially released the names of the people involved in that fatal traffic accident involving a snow plow over the weekend on Skyline Drive in Wenatchee. It was just before 8:30 in the morning. Chelan County Public Works snowplow and a 1990 Honda Civic CRX collided when that smaller vehicle lost control traveling eastbound, striking the plow blade and destroying the front end of the car. Police have identified the driver now as 22-year-old Angel Oropeza Palacios of Kashmir, who was treated with minor injuries, released from the hospital the same day. His passenger, 20-year-old Nina Carroll of Wenatchee, died as a result of injuries sustained in that collision. Now, the driver of the snowplow is a 64-year-old out of Kashmir. He was not hurt. Now, Wenatchee police say there was almost 2 inches of fresh snow on the roadway, and that played a critical role in that subcompact car losing traction and then colliding with that truck in the opposite lane. Also, a machine shop was gutted by fire yesterday in the Chelan area. Multiple agencies responded in the 1 o'clock hour to the blaze, which was located in the 300 block of Idle Spurs Lane. Again, that's in the Union Valley area. An official with Chelan County Fire District 7 reported the 40 by 50-foot structure and its contents was a total loss. Cause of that fire is still under investigation, and luckily there were no injuries. Grant County deputies are looking for a man who stole a safe Monday from the Outpost Grocery in the town of Shawana. Around 6 in the morning, deputies were called when the store clerk reported that she had been robbed by a man wearing a ski mask and armed with a handgun. Robert reportedly escaped with an undisclosed amount of cash and the safe from inside the store. No vehicle was observed and the clerk was uninjured. The clerk described the suspect as Hispanic male, 5'9" with a thin build. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Grant County Sheriff's Department. Also, 12th District Representative Mike Steele says he's doubtful that a proposed tax on carbon emissions will be good for North Central Washington. The Chelan Republican expressed his concerns on this week's the 12th District program on NCW Life Channel.
You know, I think it's really important that for the 12th District, we recognize just how potentially impactful negatively that carbon tax could be. You know, there is an ag exemption, but that ag exemption only exists when you're on your farm. The minute you hit the pavement and you're taking bins to the warehouse or whatever, you're going to be paying that tax. And you know, I think it's really important that for the 12th District, we recognize just how potentially impactful negatively that carbon tax could be. You know, there is an ag exemption, but that ag exemption only exists when you're on your farm. The minute you hit the pavement and you're taking bins to the warehouse or whatever, you're going to be paying that tax. And really, I believe, I've said all along, I feel like this is a tax among the on the poorest among us, those folks that are having to drive into our district as housing prices and everything go up and the things we're dealing with in the 12th District. We see these folks having to commute farther and farther, and they're going to have to pay these taxes. It's just really a poor way to deal with it. If we want to solve or deal with carbon emission, let's deal with carbon emission. And another tax is not the way to do that, in my personal opinion.
Meanwhile, that measure is still being debated in the Senate after it passed out of committee last week. 12th District Senator Brad Hawkins is a member of that committee, but said he's still analyzing the bill.
I did not expect the bill to come up for a vote in committee that night, and we actually had a proposed substitute to that bill that I was trying to understand the impacts for our district. So instead of voting no, I voted what's called without recommendation, which it isn't a yes, it's part of the minority opinion without recommendation. But I voted without recommendation because I'm trying to keep an open mind to understand the impacts to our area.
Now, the proposal would tax fossil fuel emissions at $12 a metric ton and increased by $1.80 each year until it reaches $30 a metric ton. It would be an initial 18-cent a gallon increase for your fuel. Chelan County PUD commissioners yesterday began taking up that issue of the carbon tax at a study session in Wenatchee. NCW Live's Grant Olson covered that story.
The carbon tax would affect agriculture, transportation, and energy. There are currently 2 Senate bills regarding a carbon tax, 2 House bills, and 2 initiatives. PUD General Manager Steve Wright says while reducing carbon emissions would have little impact on Chelan County electric ratepayers because hydropower is essentially emissions-free, over the next couple of weeks, the PUD needs to focus on the part of that bill they know best, energy. Wright also adds that while the PUD is being proactive in tackling the issue, taking affirmative action now is premature.
And its revenues and costs associated with this proposed legislation. This may evolve to a place over the course of the next week or so where it becomes more intensely impactful to us. And we intend to keep you informed about that.
Wright says if the carbon tax mandates substantial expansion of requirements for electric utilities to purchase non-hydro renewable resources, it would lead to building more generating resources than are needed, increase electricity surpluses, and would reduce the value of all non-carbon emitting resources, including hydropower. But if a price on carbon in the electric sector achieves more carbon reduction for less cost than alternative policies, it reduces the use of the largest carbon emitters, which are coal and natural gas plants, while encouraging the use of least cost carbon-free resources like energy efficiency and hydropower. Grant Olson, NCW Life News.
Of course, that's an issue that is highly controversial. Several bills circulating the legislature right now, so certainly we'll find out and we'll continue to monitor that activity. Well, Dan, it was Apple Blossom Royalty Day in Olympia yesterday as recently crowned Queen Greta Wiersma and her 2 princesses visited the state capitol. Weather was snowy, but our Wenatchee Valley ambassadors received a warm welcome from lawmakers. Their tour of the Capitol included a visit with Governor Jay Inslee. They were accompanied by 12th District Senator Brad Hawkins, who you can see there in the background. But it was a great day for the young ladies there at the state capitol. It's a tradition that they've done now for I don't know how many years, as long as I've been here. But it's a great way for them to meet with our legislators, and also official greeting and invitation for them to come on over to Wenatchee for the festival coming up later, what, in May?
The last weekend in April, first weekend in May. Yep.
That's right.
So, looking forward to that. We'll be all over the Apple Blossom
Great
Festival,
ambassadors this year, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a great, they always are. I mean, I can't remember anybody saying in the statement, boy, the royal court isn't very good this year. Yet this doesn't happen.
No.
The judges do a tremendous job. And so do the girls. Credit to the girls.
Sure.
For doing that.
Absolutely. It takes a lot out of their lives, you know. They have to commit to quite a bit.
180 public appearances between now and when they give up their crown in February of 2019. That's a lot.
Really is.
That's a lot.
Boy, look at that sunrise, huh?
Yes, gorgeous. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, Grant Olson's kind of a handsome guy. He's the anchor of the news. Grant does the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. You didn't chime right in with a comment there, Steve.
Well, what can I say?
Okay.
What can I add to that?
Grant Olson, our anchor. Eric Grandstrom handles sports. Grant also, by the way, handles the weather forecast as well. We have our feature story, everything you need to know in a nice, tidy little package to wrap up your day with the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. And don't forget, if there's a news story out there that you think deserves covering, or you have a news tip, get a hold of us, Steve.
That's right. The hotline's available to you anytime, 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. You can also check in with us on our social media sites, Facebook and Twitter. You can communicate with us by email. Our address is news@ncwlife.com. And then, of course, you can always click that contact tab there on our website at ncwlife.com. And you can communicate with us that way, too. So any number of ways, please let us know what your ideas are for news stories, and we'll see where we can take it.
Partly cloudy skies, 13 degrees outside of our studios. Yeah, it's cold. Forecast high today of just about 32, but we're gradually going to warm up as we get through the rest of this work week and into the weekend. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays. Everyone is entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. And we'll talk to the folks at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center about the People of Our Past program, which is happening this weekend, about a block and a half from where we are sitting. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live from Studio 7 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
RLS Productions is proud to bring to the NCW Life channel the Concerts in the Garden Summer Series held at Omi Gardens. The series features performances from Rare Earth's Peter Rivera, Heart by Heart, Too Slim and the Tail Draggers, The Infinity Project, the Wenatchee Swingin' Big Band, and a whole host of other great acts. Tune in Wednesdays at 1:30 and 7 p.m. and Fridays and Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. and 9 p.m. RLS Productions Concerts in the Garden Summer Series, only on the NCW Life channel.
Welcome back to this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz on this 21st day of February. Let's do sports. First of all, the Wenatchee Wild on the road. They have 3 more regular season games to go, and it begins tonight. Wenatchee is at West Kelowna. They'll take on the Warriors at the Royal LePage Place. 7 o'clock is when they drop the puck. 5 meetings so far this season. The Wild have a 3-2 edge over the Warriors. The 2 West Kelowna wins came in overtime, by the way. Speaking of which, Wenatchee has played in 10 overtime games this season, half of which went into double overtime. The Wild are also 500 in games going into extra play. Wenatchee will wrap up the regular season with games Friday at Vernon, Saturday at Penticton. Then they get most of next week off and the playoffs begin. Here's a reminder of the high school basketball playoffs coming our way this weekend. Ooh, all of a sudden I want a margarita. Here's what's on tap for later this week and into the weekend. Wenatchee High School, busy place Friday and Saturday. Regional playoff basketball. On Friday, the Antioch girls will take on Riverside Christian at 6 o'clock. It's a winner to state loser out 1B regional playoff game. And then at 8, it's 2B playoffs. The Oroville boys take on Friday Harbor. That's also a winner to state loser out contest. Also on Friday, down in beautiful Ellensburg, the Brewster boys will play Kittitas at 8 o'clock. Both teams advance to the 2B state tournament. This is for seeding purposes. Whether they play in the first day of the tournament or the second day, and you want to play in the second day. Saturday features 2 afternoon games at Wenatchee High. The Brewster girls and Mossy Rock. Winner to state, loser out. They tip off at 2 o'clock, and that's followed by a 1A regional matchup. The Cashmere girls and Lakeside out of 9 Mile Falls. Of course, who could forget the regional game between Cashmere and Mount Baker last year at Wenatchee High School. That proved to be chapter 1 in a 2-chapter book that would spell out the eventual state championship. That was last year's playoff game at the Wenatchee High School Gymnasium between Cashmere and Mount Baker. It looks like most of the town of Cashmere showed up for that one. It'll probably be the same case on Saturday night. The winner of the Saturday night game will advance to the quarterfinals of the State 1A tournament down in Yakima. The loser will have to play in the first round of the tournament on Wednesday. And finally, as the Mariners continue their early season workouts, spring training going on in Peoria, the injury bug has already claimed a number of players, including pitcher Ismaro Ramirez. General Manager Joe DePoto says the team is treating all the injuries with gentle, slow approach.
It's an issue that as we know from having dealt with a former player, Evan Scribner, for the last couple of years. Lat issues can become, bigger or long-term issues. Hopefully we caught this one early enough that it's short to midterm. We don't know yet, and we're hoping that in 2 weeks we're going to get a thumbs up and he's ready to roll. That's not a slam dunk, and then we have to take it day by day. And I said to Erasmo yesterday, I put my arm around him, and I said, we're similar to what I said with Ryan Healy. We're in this for the long haul. We care about where you are at the finish, not necessarily where you are at the start. The great benefit we have, especially in the case of Erasmo, is roughly for the first 5 weeks, we have about a day off every week, which just means we can be somewhat creative in how we get through with our starting rotation if we need to start with Erasmo getting into his throwing program. What would be more damning is if it's a long-term issue, and that is something we're going to have a tough time absorbing. So in the short term, we believe he'll be back. We're hopeful that's in 2-3.
Well, we hope he gets better soon. We'll need his arm come this summer. The Mariners have also lost top outfield prospect Kyle Lewis. He had arthroscopic surgery on a knee. First baseman Ryan Healy, he had surgery to remove bone spurs. He's going to be out for about 6 weeks. Seattle, by the way, plays its first Cactus League game against San Diego on Friday. Baseball, bring it on, 28 minutes after the hour. Gee, I wonder what the obscure holiday is today. It's actually tomorrow. Today is February 21st. I did all my online research and none of them just got my attention. All the obscure holidays for February 21st were no good. So I jumped ahead to February 22nd because we got 2 tomorrow. So I'm doing 1 today. Tomorrow is actually National Margarita Day, but if you want to celebrate today, you have my permission. Nobody really knows when the margarita was invented, why today is National Margarita Day. The legend is it was invented back in October of 1941 when somebody by the name of Margarita went into a bar in Mexico and said, just make me something that you've never made before. And so in went the tequila and the lime and the orange liqueur and the salt on the rim. And they said, we'll call it a margarita after you. The first margarita recipe was printed in the December 1958 issue of Esquire. I'm not much of a margarita guy because I don't like tequila. I'm kind of happy that the price of tequila has gone sky high. I don't have to worry about it. 29 minutes after the hour, let's do Today in History. Happy birthday to the phone book. The phone book is 140 years old today. The very first telephone directory was issued in New Haven, Connecticut on this date in 1878. There it is. the very first telephone book. I cannot remember the last time I used a telephone book. It's been 15 years easily. Telephone books take up about 600,000 tons of paper annually. That's a lot of paper. A lot of people call them up and say, don't send me a phone book anymore. I don't use them, doesn't matter. They throw them on your porch anyway. If all the phone books went away tomorrow, with the exception of those people who have no access to the internet, I would have no problems with that. The first telephone book, the telephone directory, came out in the state 140 years ago. Happy birthday to the Washington Monument. 133 years ago today, the Washington Monument was dedicated. And for 5 years, from 1884 to 1889, it was the tallest building in the world. It isn't anymore. Of course, they stopped building it between 1854 and 1877. They had no money. There was a struggle for control and who actually got to run the monument once it was built. And of course, we had that Civil War that you may have heard about. They finally got back to work in 1878, finished it in 1884, and it was dedicated on this date in 1885, the Washington Monument. And 46 years ago today, Richard Nixon and Chairman Mao sat down and said hi. Nixon went to China. Most historians rank this as probably the most important overseas trip that any president ever took. I mean, the United States and China had zero diplomatic relations, none. And on this date, Richard Nixon went to China, and it changed American history, changed Chinese history. Happened on this date in 1972. And finally, at 31 minutes after the hour, birthdays, 3 of them. David Geffen, the American businessman, been in the music industry forever, 75 years old today. Either created, founded, or co-created Asylum Records in 1970, Geffen Records in 1980, DGC Records in 1990. He's also a partner in DreamWorks, and he started that back in 1994. He got a start in the mailroom at the JAC, the big agency in Hollywood. Started out in the mailroom, discovered Jackson Browne. Couldn't get Jackson Browne a record deal, anybody, and so he decided to start his own record company so Jackson Browne could start recording, and that's how the whole thing got started. The legendary David Geffen is 75 years old today, and the Kelly twins are 54 years old today. Mark Kelly, of course, captain, pilot, astronaut, spent about a year in space. Of course, his wife, Gabriella Giffords, was shot back in 2011. That's how Mark Kelly, the great Mark Kelly, astronaut, is 54, and so is his twin, Scott Kelly. Again, an astronaut. The only 2 siblings ever to go into space, and of course it was a great little experiment. They sent Mark up into space and Scott stayed down here, and then Mark got back and they could compare what exactly happens to the body when you spend a year without gravity. Happy birthday to the Kelly twins. They're 54 years old today. All right, 33 minutes after the hour on a chilly Wednesday, 13 degrees outside. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, Mike McNaughty has some political advice. That ought to be good. And then our friends from the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center will be dropping by to talk about people of our past. It's all coming up. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Wednesday edition on the NCW Life channel.
Every golfer aims to play their best, and smart golfers turn to the Golfer's Edge to get the Golfer's Edge. PGA professional Ed Payne has you covered from tee to green. You can work on your swing or play 18 in air-conditioned comfort on the golf simulator. Tanya's Corner has all the apparel the golfer needs at sale prices. And Ed can even rebuild your favorite set of clubs or custom make you a brand new set. Ask how you can qualify for a free 30-minute lesson at the Golfer's Edge on Mission between Kittitas and Yakima.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
Dear Mary Maids, just got home from a trade show and I didn't have time to pick up the house. Kids made chili. Jeff did a mud run. Oh, and Winston shredded Teddy's bed. Again, please clean it the best you can. Oh, except for the statue Max made for me. Thanks, Abby.
Hi, Abby. Clean kitchen, clean bath, clean floor, naughty cat, poor Teddy. The statue is precious. You should keep it forever. See you next time, Mary Maids.
Hi there, my name's Patrick and I'm the branch manager here at New American Funding. Applying for a home loan is an exciting time. You may have a lot of questions about how to meet your home loan goals, the loan process, or your borrowing options. We're here to help. We do things differently here at New American Funding. Not only do we have an array of loan products and a team of specialists to support you, but we get to know you personally. We want to earn your trust and business for life. So stop by our Wenatchee or Chelan office or give us a call today.
Ready Medi is healthcare made simple and affordable. We are the only direct primary care practice that provides personalized and holistic healthcare in North Central Washington. Our wellness model not only helps prevent heart attacks and strokes, but we also optimize hormones. Affordability is our goal. For example, hip surgery locally is $45,000, whereas our members have the same access for $15,000. Ready Medi, healthcare made simple and affordable.
Why live your life in the dark? At Schmidt Electric, we're one of the oldest and most respected companies in the Pacific Northwest.
Founded by my father in 1960, we have grown from 2 employees to 130.
From small commercial businesses to heavy industrial companies, we employ some of the most respected contractors. We're also a proud member of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers for over 50 years. Call us at Schmidt Electric today.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everyone's entitled to my opinion. Now, I was talking with a liberal friend the other day who was bemoaning the foils of Donald Trump. Well, suddenly, though, she said, is this how conservatives felt about Barack Obama? Well, duh. You know, it's amazing to me that people of opposing political views can't begin to accept that there are political views diametrically opposed to theirs in the perception of others that have great merit. Of course, though, Trump is an idiot. No, actually, he's not. And therefore, it's okay to hate him. And of course, Obama did ruin this country. Well, no, he didn't. So it's okay to hate him. Sorry, folks, just because someone doesn't agree with you politically doesn't make them wrong. No, it doesn't. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
The Arbiter of Stoke is a series that highlights a variety of outdoor adventure sports that are available in the Pacific Northwest. I dedicate my time to enjoying this natural playground. The decision is yours. How will you keep your stoke?
We know crunch.
In our experience, some people are just cut out for charter college and for success in a new career. These charter types are hard workers. Charter types go above and beyond. And charter types are responsible. If you're ready to get to work making a better future for yourself, you're just our type. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
And we are back on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Your chance to step back into time, specifically to 1905, happens this Saturday and Sunday. The People of Our Past program returns to the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. And here to talk about it from the museum proper is Ashley Sinner, making her second appearance on the show. I always like it when somebody comes back for the second time because that means I did okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's the calls Ashley when hey, you want to come back on the show? And they go, no. And to Ashley's right and my left is Jeff Heminger, who'll be portraying Ed Ferguson on Saturday and Sunday's performance of People of Our Past. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
It's back and we were talking off camera. We don't really know how far back this goes. We know at least 10 years, probably longer, right?
Yeah, over a decade. That's what I know.
It's if you've never been to it, it's really, really cool. They bring in people like Jeff and other actors, either amateur thespians or those who are pretty good at it, and they portray people to talk about Wenatchee's history at the time that they were impacting the Wenatchee Valley. Who came up with that idea? I wish it was me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think probably our education director, Selena Danko, has played a big role in bringing this program to the museum, and it's evolved a lot over the years. Now it's a dinner theater performance, and in the past it was a daytime kind of wandering through the museum event, so yeah.
And something new this year, instead of having people from the turn of the century and from the 30s and 40s and even from the 50s, which they've had on before. This is all people who were all in Wenatchee at the same time, knew each other, and are all going to be doing their stuff, but also doing some interacting. It's a whole new take on it. I love it. Whose idea was that?
I imagine, again, our education director is Selena Danko, and the director of the performance is Cynthia Brown, and I know she played a big role in writing the script and shaping this year's performance.
How was she recruited? Because everybody knows Cynthia in the theater community.
You know, I think that probably she works with Selena because I think this isn't her first year doing this.
Okay.
I don't know how many times she's done the People of Our Past, but yeah, I think she's a veteran for sure in this role.
I think Cynthia's been an actress in the People of Our Past program.
Yeah, she has. She has actually been done it in the past. How did you get recruited, Jeff, to play Ed Ferguson?
Well, this is my second year doing it. Last year, I played James Wallace, who was kind of Mr. KPQ back in the day. And so I knew Selena just through kind of the theater connection in town, and she asked me last year about doing it, and I thought, it seems a little scary, the fact that the audience can ask you questions in character, and you're supposed to answer questions in character and do enough research on the part that you know how to answer them intelligently. But I thought, okay, well, I'll give it a try, and it was just a lot of fun last year. And so they asked me again this year, and I said, yep, I'll do it. So
for the record, Jeff works for the Douglas County PUD. He's an electrical engineer there. He does not normally wear this to work.
That's right.
The research of Ed Ferguson, did Cynthia just say, here's your script and study it, or did you have to go and understand Ed Ferguson as a human being before you even delved into what Cynthia wrote?
So the museum did a lot of the legwork for me. Some of the museum staff did a lot of research and put the script together for me, and then provided some, some old newspaper articles and some things that the museum had written in the past about Ed Ferguson. And so, so I was basically given a script, but then a lot of other materials to kind of research, and did some of that on my own. And we need to be prepared to not only give the speech, but also answer questions about their life as well. So kind of a mix. Mostly the museum did most of the legwork, though.
I'm going to be interviewing Jeff in the second part of this program as Ed Ferguson. He's going to be in character. But before we get to that, what is it about Ed Ferguson that makes him such a fascinating character to portray?
Well, I think like a lot of those kind of early pioneer folks back in the day, he just did everything. There were so many people that were involved in every club and just really trying to get the community started. And so he worked on steamships, he worked in his father's tinsmith shop. Later in his life, he became the first police chief and the first Chelan County sheriff. He owned the first theater in town. He would act in shows. He played in Wenatchee's first band. He just kind of did it all. So just really fascinating character.
A Renaissance man in 1905.
Yes.
So we're again in the second part of this show, we're going to be interviewing Jeff as Ed. Let's get back to Ashley real quick. People want to go to this. I want to go to this. What do they need? Give me the nuts and the bolts of the performances and all that stuff.
So the dinner theater performance is 6 o'clock this Saturday night. It's a 4-course menu that has, historically themed.
It's not going to be food that's 110 years old, right?
No.
Okay.
Because
that would cut down on attendance.
The scene will be set. It will be in the new Wenatchee Theater, at the time the original brand new Wenatchee Theater, it's a celebration of our Chelan County showing at the Portland World's Fair and Expo. So this is after the expo has happened. We've had our big booth showcasing all the fruit and produce from this region and trying to show us off as this great utopia of a place for get people to move here and belong. So this is at the end of that. It's a celebration evening of the community. The audience will be part of that celebration, having the dinner together, getting to interact with the historical figures who will be interacting with each other too and all know one another. There'll be live music with a sing-along, so the audience can participate in some of those songs, Turkey in the Straw, Meet Me in St. Louis, some of those fun tunes. And then, yeah, tickets are $40. Museum members get a discount, $35. You can go onto our website, WenatcheeValleyMuseum.org, to get tickets. You could also just call the museum at 888-6240.
And that's for the theater, that's for the Saturday
Yes,
night?
Saturday, 6 p.m. That's the main performance.
Okay.
There will be some additional performances. There won't be the whole big food and that, but you can come and see the performances also Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. and 2 o'clock p.m. and then again on Sunday at 2 o'clock. So there will be some other opportunities if you can't make it to the dinner theater, but I'd encourage you to get your tickets early for that.
And the idea of getting together with all of these actors and portraying these characters in a dinner theater environment on Saturday night, that's new too, right? This has not been done before? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it's been done at least a few years.
Yeah, last year they did
was,
it, and I think it's been done for a few years. So.
Yeah, but it did change. Originally it was not. It was a daytime thing, and then it has evolved into this dinner theater performance.
Does Cynthia giving you any kind of latitude, Jeff, in the role of Ed, or do you have your script and that's it and you're doing your script?
She's given us a lot of latitude that if there are other little anecdotes or stories we want to throw in, we can do that. And yeah, really, it's just whatever fascinating things we can find out about these people, we want people to know about that. So, yeah.
Jeff is on, but there's other people involved in this. As we mentioned before, he will play Ed Ferguson, Jeff will. Emma Standifer will play Bella Culp-Reeves, is that correct? You want to go through the rest of the list of the actors and the roles that they're playing?
So Belle Culp-Reeves, at the time, she was the hostess for our pavilion at the expo, but later on she became a state representative and in the House, and then she was appointed the first female Secretary of State in Washington. So she was very important to our history. There was a husband and wife, M.O. Tibbetts and Dora Tibbetts, and they were ranchers, kind of turned orchardists in the area. They had other big roles. She ended up becoming a writer, and she was writing stories for magazines back east, kind of telling about life here in the West and about, what it was like. And then Arthur Gunn, I don't know actually as much about him. I know he had some management and political, he managed a bank, I think, originally when he came here. He had some political roles, and he ended up in real estate, I think, too. So
he was a big mover and a shaker. He helped to finance a lot of things in the early town. One of the biggest things was the pipeline bridge, the first bridge across the Columbia here. He got some of the local growers to put in some money into that with the promise that, well, you're going to have water for your crops if we can build this bridge and get it across the Columbia.
Yeah, the original irrigation ditch is still known for those people who were born and raised here as the Gun Ditch, and I think it still exists in many in many ways. It's still in the ground somewhere. So, what do you want people? One more question for you, Ashley, for people. What do you want people from North Central Washington to take away from this on Saturday and Sunday? Just learn a little bit more about.
Yeah, just come and learn a little bit more about these specific people. They're historical figures to our valley, and this specific group were really founders to what we are today, and they really built the community up. And so yeah, just it's entertainment, but it's also learning, and I think that's a lot of what we do at the museum is we have fun and we entertain, but we also teach you something along the way.
So what's the difference between the Saturday night theater performance and the other performances?
The other ones are by donation. There won't be the food or the live music. There will still be sing-along elements, but those will be, you know, recorded music, not live. So it'll be a little bit different atmosphere, but it's still getting to see the same performance that is at the dinner theater.
In the previous People of Our Past, basically the actor would go up, portray their character, do their lines, tell their stories, do a little interaction with the audience, and that would be it. How much interaction between all the different people who are, is there interaction between you and the other characters throughout the course of this?
A little bit, yeah. We kind of go from one to the next and introduce the next character, and we know each other's stories as well, so while we'll be taking questions from the audience, we also will have some questions that we can ask each other to kind of pull out some of those other interesting stories that maybe aren't part of our main speeches, but are good for people to hear. So. And
rehearsal's been going good?
Yeah, really well. It's really fun to see all these other characters and see how people are portraying them, and just such fun stories to tell. So.
I've known Cynthia Brown for years. What you like working with?
Oh, she's great. Yeah, she's got a really good vision for what she wants. She's really good for knowing the time period and getting us into kind of the feel of how to talk like someone from the early 1900s, and she's just great to work with.
So what we're going to do is we'll take a quick little break. When we come back, Jeff will transform into Ed Ferguson circa 1905. You think he can handle it?
I think so.
Okay.
I hope so.
We'll take a run at it. We'll see how good he is at ad-libbing with me. When we come back, you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Quality, comfort, style, service. This is the Crown Furniture difference for more than 50 years. Their commitment to you is to provide the best furniture and mattresses the industry has to offer at a great price. Shop Crown Furniture today to experience the difference. And remember, free setup, delivery, and haul-away in their service area is just another way they show they care.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to come down and check out what we're all about at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Great beer, good food, and an endless source of entertainment for the whole family. Our Honey Blonde beer is flying off the shelves at your local grocery store. But I tell you what, it's even better on tap. And while you're here, try our signature Badger sauce with one of our delicious meals. Whether you're in the mood for a wrap, salad, pizza, or nachos, Badger Mountain Brewing has what you're looking for.
This is TV. This is TV Set Free. TV everywhere from Localtel sets you free to watch what you want, where you want. Catch your favorite networks, including live TV, ready to watch on any web-connected device for no extra charge. That's TV Set Free. Enjoy the extra value Localtel delivers with TV everywhere. Visit localtel.net and sign up today.
It is February 21st, 1905. Television hasn't been invented yet, but you have to use your imagination, because joining me is Wenatchee pioneer Ed Ferguson. Hello, Ed.
Hello there.
What brought you to our little hamlet?
Well, my father moved out here in the late 1890s, and I joined him shortly after he moved here. He was a tinsmith, and so I began to work in his tinsmith shop, and did a few odd jobs in some stores around town before moving on to bigger and better things in the Wenatchee Valley.
Tell me about your family.
Well, my father, he attempted to be a farmer back in Wisconsin, and that didn't go so well. So when I was 10 years old, we moved out to Tacoma with my mother and my sister. And then not long after that, made the move to Wenatchee. So.
You like living here?
It's great. It's a great town, and I think we need to tell more people about it.
Well, let's do that right now, Ed. What is it that you do right now in the Wenatchee Valley?
Well, I am most proud right now having just purchased the first theater in town. We've just opened a few months ago the Wenatchee Theater, and we're presenting our own original shows. We host traveling troops and concerts, anything you please at the theater. We're here to entertain.
But you have to do a lot of different stuff now, don't you, Ed? Because you can't just do one thing and make it in this town, can you?
No, I mean, the town is still pretty young, and I think it's important that we build it up. And so we have a lot of people in town that we refer to as boosters, who are here to show what a great town we have and to bring people to the area. And so anything we can do, we do. So I've had a lot of experiences around here. I've worked on steamboats. I have worked with my father. I've done a little bit of law enforcement with him. We don't have an organized police force yet, but I've worked with my father as town marshal, and worked in the theater, playing the band. Anything we can do to promote our town.
Did you get a chance to go down to Portland and then promote Wenatchee during the centennial of the Lewis and Clark Exposition?
I was not there, but I've heard many good stories about people that were there that said that the Chelan County had the best exhibit at the fair and won more prizes than any other county there. So,
do you think it'll draw people? Because that was the whole idea, right?
I think so.
Get people to come to our little hamlet.
I certainly hope so. I think we've had a strong showing, and I think that people will see that and they'll want to move to this area.
Ed, it's 1905. Where do you see yourself in 1915, for instance? Still here, I hope?
Well, yes, still here, definitely. My lifelong ambition has been to either be a policeman, a fireman, or an actor. I've done a little bit of acting and a little bit of helping my father as the town marshal with law enforcement, but there's no police force right now, so I'm hoping that soon we can form an actual proper police force, and I would love to be a part of that.
The one thing that can tear this little brand new town apart is lawlessness.
That's right.
If you get our reputation that it's a hell-bent for leather kind of town, people aren't going to move here, are they?
That's right. I cannot abide injustice.
Jeff Heminger is in the role of Ed Ferguson. You did good. How much ad-libbing do you have to do? Because people get to ask you questions still, right, during the performance?
Yes, we like to open it up for people to ask us questions. And so, we prepare a speech, but then we also need to do enough research that we can intelligently answer questions. And so sometimes people happen to ask us things that we already know, sometimes not. And if not, we either need to come up with something that's, sounds good and is period appropriate, or at least be able to divert and tell an interesting story if we don't know the answer. So
I should probably ask you this, Jeff, and I can't believe I didn't do it. I know Ashley's background pretty well when she first came on. Do you have Wenatchee roots? Is this part of your, what's your relationship between the Heminger family and the Wenatchee Valley?
Yeah, so I was born and raised here, and both my parents were as well. In fact, dad's side of the family, the Heminger family, has been here since the early 1900s, and my mom's side of the family are the Galatleys, and they've been here since the late 1890s. So. Pretty deep roots.
Makes the Kuntz family look like we just showed up, doesn't it? Ashley, let's start. Let's wrap it up where we began about the people in our past. It is again February 24th and 25th, Saturday and Sunday, at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. What am I forgetting?
6 p.m. Saturday. Get your tickets now. Go online or to our website. Go. Call us. We'll reserve your tickets on the.
How many tickets are available? Because my guess is this will come close to selling out.
I don't know the exact right now,
is that
but
what we're trying to tell people?
Don't wait till the last minute. You might miss out. But yes, the other performances, 10 and 2 on Saturday and 2 o'clock on Sunday, are open. Just a little bit different experience.
If you're interested at all in Wenatchee's past, if you decided to call this place home, but I've mentioned this before, I had a friend of mine who moved to Wenatchee and said, this is it, I'm putting down roots, what do I need to do about learning the Wenatchee Valley? This was in 1990, and I said, go to the museum. That's where you learn about this little area, and the people of our past program is just wonderful. You really do need to check it out. And I love the whole idea of everybody in 1905 that we're all knew each other and interacted with each other is a fascinating idea. So kudos to Cynthia. You ready to? I wish you brought your mandolin out. I'd have you play a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be playing a little bit of music for the event too, so it'll be fun.
You're in the theater community. What's next after People of Our Past? You got something else coming up?
I have 5 very young children at home, so my wife likes to do theater too, and we've decided we're going to try to do minimal amount of shows for now while they're so little. So I don't have any other acting gigs planned immediately, but
good for you.
Sometime soon.
Break a leg this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. By the way, our very own Jay Seebeck will be there on the Saturday performance. performances. You'll see him wandering around with a camera, and he will be doing an NCW Life Channel magazine on the people of our past. Ashley, Jeffrey, thanks for dropping by.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.